We're going to be looking at the virtual pianist today. It is an instrument by UJAM, and we're going to be making some orchestral stuff. I kind of want to just make this sweeping, almost fantasy like thing. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing yet. Here's a quick preview. All right, so that's what we're going to be making. I don't intend to make something very long. I'm more just kind of looking for a short session that's just kind of inspiring and has these nice, beautiful, sweeping textures. Let's take a look at the virtual pianist. So there is a really cool player section I'm not going to be diving into, but I want to mention it here at the beginning because it is pretty inspiring to work with. I like to play in things, so that's what I'm going to do. But if you click this toggle, there's a player section, and they've got these different styles you can go after, and you just hit a key and it plays. You know, way fancy, way fancier than anything I can do, but I like to play my own stuff in, and maybe someday I'll explore the player side of this more. There are these different characters we could pick. So here is Abyss. And this is very dark. We go over to the light side. Something like that. This is damped. This one's mellow. Here's the light version. Twist. Here's pure. And away you go. Yeah, I really like pure. That's a really beautiful sound. And then finally there's royal. Here it is in the light version. And then one of my favorite things, the thing that probably makes this library stand out, I'm gonna go to pure because I really vibed it this time, is there are these effects with finishers. My favorite one in here is probably stuck strings, but any of the transform options are just super cool. So the stuck strings will go over to sort of a pizzicato style thing. So I'm just gonna move it while I play. You know, cool stuff. Let's look through a few more of these. This is really cool. A honky tonk detune. Staccato. Then we have our ambience over here. We can pick a couple different ones. Mildly psychedelic. Let's find another. Over to a synth. I find the strings, man. The strings just sound like great. I mean, it makes sense. If you've ever gone up to a piano and opened it and put your hands on the strings to damp them while you play, it's a super cool effect, especially when you combine it with some of the pedals on the piano. So this kind of gives a similar vibe, that sort of transition. So it just feels real natural. You know, it's just kind of a nice thing. Let's go ahead. Let's find another atmosphere. We got a reverse one. This could be cool with the strings. Okay, let me come up with a cool sound that I like, and let's make something. I meant to push the last note, but I just hit it like halfway. I hit it too soft. This keyboard is the guitar key bed, and sometimes like that high note would have sounded on a normal piano. It's harder to push the high notes are as hard to push as the low notes. So there's supposed to be a C there, or is it a C? Yeah, there's supposed to be a C. Anyways, we're gonna run with that. I really like that. All right, so I'm gonna go through and clean this up. There's gonna be a lot of little nudges and things to make things like land on the beat. So give me a second while I do that. Okay, I've gone through, I've cleaned it up, and we have a much more less varied thing. It's still got like nudges and stuff, but I fixed things that definitely sounded wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with pure. I think pure sounds pretty cool, and I'd like to automate the finisher on and off at different sections. I think that'd be cool. And then I'm gonna move to adding another layer, maybe another piano playing the same part, and then maybe some strings. And I'm thinking of some bells, maybe. I don't know. Those are my ideas. So let's go to browse. We will move this control and move the finisher. This finisher idea is something UJAM puts in all their plugins, or at least every one I've touched. And it's really cool. Basically, the idea is a transformative thing. And they go with much more like human language for their stuff. So, well, muted strings, I guess, is pretty on the nose. But there's a lot of things here that are just sort of, you know, it's said more like English than technical terms. I guess it would be its equivalent. While we're here, let's also assign this a track. Let's look for some cool spots we can bring this piano back in. Maybe at the end of every phrase we go. It's like a transforming thing. And then we can take this and reuse it where we see fit. Do we want to just loop it? Or do we want to do something like this? Hit every phrase. So this is a phrase, this is a phrase. This is a phrase. How's this part? Oh yeah. We're gonna do that. And you know, we will group these as a thing. So once we have this, we'll take them, we'll hit Control G. That is fine, I think. Oh, it's gonna do these crazy things because the endpoints aren't there. There are endpoints though. If I do these, those merge. Oh, it's these ones. These ones don't have endpoints. That makes sense. Okay. Now it shouldn't have a hard time. Perfect. And if you don't do that, sometimes you can get like some weird merging results. So It's saying that like, oh, you cut the clip off before defined end is there. It'll try and fix it, but it usually is better to just find the clip if it's a reasonable thing to do. Okay, so now we can vary these. So we can like have some different curves and maybe some depths. And this is fine. I'm going to delete these since they're part of one phrase. And this one, I kind of want it to end on the nose, so we'll have it go down quite a bit quicker. So now we have this. That's pretty cool on its own, to be honest. I'm going to go look. Okay, so I've added a bunch of parts. I've got a glockenspiel, a music box, some strings, and some brass. And I'm going to add another piano. And let's go for a different one. Instead of muted strings, let's go for those other strings. Where were they picked? And I am just going to write in a little ARP counter line to go with this. Okay, I've added the counter line. It's these little plucks here. I also added some tempo automation, and at the right here, I really like this. It comes up. So I am going to play for you the part now. This is the final result, and the main sounds here are going to be these two guys. The rest is just sort of in a supporting role. So there you go. Drop your thoughts down below on what you think of the virtual pianist. Is it something you would add to your toolbox? And if you already have it, how is it in your toolbox? How high do you rate it? What are your thoughts? Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.